Hello, everyone. I'm Sakshi Rora back with you today, your host and happiness coach. And I'm thrilled to have you join us today as we dive into a topic that is so deeply resonating with so many of us, where we are trying to find balance between our work, our studies as students, and into our life, with the fast paced life that is going through. So, the topic for today is thrive, just not survive each day. We feel like this day should just pass by and we don't know how it just goes. So let's explore on this topic further and understand how we can prioritize our achievements and mental well-being both. Joining us today are two incredible individuals who bring a wealth of insight and experience to this conversation. We have Deepa Rani Agarwal, who is a child and teen skills expert who has dedicated her career to helping young minds and unlock their potential and build essential life skills. On the other hand, we have Jivika, who is a CA aspirant with first-hand experience navigating the pressures of competitive exams while striving the balance of fulfilling her life and passion of art as well. A very warm welcome to Deepa and Jivika. How are you all doing?
Thank you so much for having me here as we are talking today on the topic of thrive but just not survive. Jivika is one of the brightest students that I have. Jivika, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jivika Agarwal. I'm from a small town, Vijayawada, and I'm currently studying intermediate first year, and I'm a CA aspirant who has love in art and love numbers. So that is why I have chosen accounts so that I can help people with numbers and on the same time play with numbers.
Wow, that's lovely.
Yes. Okay. So, going to our first point that we want to bring up to the stage for the audience is what was your biggest challenge or fear as a student, Jivika?
So as a student, even now I always think कि I need not 98, not 95, but 100. Even though my conscious knows that I'll only be able to gain 90, but I need 100. So what if I don't even get 90 over 100? This was the constant fear. And but I know कि if I'm putting effort, if my efforts are enough, then those numbers won't make much a difference.
Deepa,
What were the steps that you took to overcome this fear? Because Jivika, I think that is the constant pressure that every child goes through, especially through the teenage. When the child comes to the ninth grade till 12th grade, I think the pressure is very high. And as a parent also, though they want to support them a lot, but wantingly or unwantingly, they put up that pressure on the child because we want our children to exceed in what they are doing. Today itself, my daughter gave the JEE mains exam, and definitely, I also told her that put your 100% focus and don't worry about the exams. And how did you deal with it as a student?
So like before preparation, the night before the exams is a night where I think most of the students don't sleep. Either they sleep the whole night and don't study, or they don't sleep at all. So I was the one who never used to sleep. I used to study, keep studying. Before my 10 boards, like I used to sleep, and then suddenly this question pops up in my mind for which I don't know the answer. So I used to get up the very instance and check the book, open the book and check what is the answer to it. So now I know ki I'm putting efforts. I'm putting many efforts. And even after putting effort, if I don't score marks, it is just that sometimes you overstress yourself. So instead of overstressing yourself, if I put less stress and try to uh, make myself try to like constantly manifest, I have done enough. I know I have done enough. Everybody knows that you have done enough preparation. So this thing comes when you constantly put this thing in your mind that you can do it. There is nothing which will stop you if you have put enough efforts. And that is what I did. And even now I don't say that I have overcome that fear, but I'm constantly trying.
Yeah, I remember that when you were 10-year-old, I think, the first time that you came to me, and that time you had the same fear, and I have been trying to support you on that. Okay, let's go ahead with the biggest challenge that student at your age faces, other than what you have mentioned already.
Other than what I've mentioned already. So now, when we constantly keep studying, now, like, there is this thing of being cool. All the teenagers at this age, they want to be cool. They want to study. They want to be good at everything. And now, over the period, people have started being concerned about not getting marks. Like, um, even like if you are aware of the NEET scam this year, many people got grace marks, and so now marks have become something which people want, but the value of it has reduced over the period.
Yeah,
So
you mean to say that marks is the parameter to measure your talent, which sometimes may not be true.
which may not be true, because these days you don't get marks when you deserve it. People like the NEET scam, where people worked hard, they couldn't score marks, and the people who didn't deserve got marks, and everybody in here knows that, the society knows that, and people still try to check over marks. So now, apart from marks, everybody thinks that marks is not the criteria, so sometimes they try to ignore the marks, they try to ignore those things. But exams are held, like if the entire country, the entire world is conducting exams, then there must be some thought put to it. The people, I mean, our ancestors have must put some thought, because exams is not just about marks. It is about that you are able to present something, you are able to show to the world what you know. So instead of just quitting exams like that, what people tend to do now, trying to be cool in doing other things, we should focus on exams as well as the things you love. So not having to maintain that balance and ignoring the exams has been a constant kind of trend these days, which I don't think should be.
Very well said, Jivika. I just want to add one story here, as you already know, maybe. The story of the woodcutters. There were two woodcutters. One woodcutter who didn't, who constantly was on his work from morning 9 till evening 6. He has piled up some amount of wood, and the other woodcutter who actually took breaks in every 2 hours, sharpened his axe, and did his work. He also piled up something. When we compared their work by the end of the day, the one who sharpened his axe by taking rest, by just feeling a little bit of what he wants, maybe having a sip of water, just relaxing for 10-15 minutes nap, has doubled his work just by doing such things. Maybe that's what is a very minute point and very important point that Jivika has brought up today on the forum, that children are constantly put under pressure by themselves and by the society also, and they are not taking that time out looking into what are the things that they are really wanting to do in their life. So thank you, Jivika, for bringing that up. Actually, that's a very, very important point.
Yeah, and it also gives like a mindful break. This is what we say, as a happiness coach and a mindfulness coach, we always say take your breaks, even if it's just to focus on your breath and come back. That break is so important. So I go by your words. It's just amazing.
And the other important point that Jivika has brought up is the importance of marks and all the reservation system. A person who gets 2 marks is put into a equal place where another child has put all his efforts and thrived to get into a place just by maybe gaining 90 out of 100. A person who is just gaining 35, just the pass mark, is also at the same place. So that is very heart trashing, but then that is the system. Let us see how the governments take the decisions. But as education is what I would say from the beginning, why not thrive, but not just survive? Don't try to just gain the marks, but actually get into so much into the subject that you do not even feel the pressure of studies. Just chew your subject so much that you just like to apply it everywhere. Yeah, maybe students can give it a thought. What do you say, Jivika? Does it make sense to you, what I'm saying?
Yes, now since you have put it, we should not simply learn things but put it to life. This can, like, one major step towards this would be that the schools and colleges start putting practical stuff. Now, even in like fields like CA, which I'm doing, people tend to say that since it's theory, it's completely theory, you don't have to put it to life. But you have to, like, you can. If there is a change in the education system and government comes with schemes wherein practicals becomes compulsory. Now, even if there are practicals, people just simply tend to copy it down. Now, in on the board, in the AP board, we have these two subjects, ethics and environmental studies, which are written as exams. But we are literally given the answer key and the question paper together. So that really makes no point of putting it when you're supposed to just copy it. Now, ethics and moral values is a very good point which teenagers should learn, should know. But even after putting it to the board, putting it, making it a part of education, it is not really part of education. So the government should make sure that these things are properly being held in the colleges and schools, and practicals are a compulsion.
Very well said, Jivika. The other thing I wanted to add here is a student is just not a student, he's also a human being. Just don't take the words of teachers who are saying that you're good for nothing to your heart. Maybe that's not true. Maybe you're good at something else. A fish cannot fly like a bird. A bird cannot swim like a fish. It doesn't mean that fish is not good for or good for nothing. So I think that word has to go into the students' minds. And when we really understand our, a student becomes unstoppable. That's what I have learned in my experience. Okay. So going ahead, I wanted to ask you, what are the major steps you think that you have taken in your childhood that had a great impact on your aspiration as a CA aspirant, and also your current skills in wherever you are?
So there were the few steps which I have taken, like the childhood was, my parents from the beginning are very particular about discipline. So even in childhood, like parents now these days, they really like tend to do the children's homeworks. Maybe if it's some writing, some record, they go like, I'll write it for you, it's fine. But my parents were never that. Even now, even if it's some diagram which I'm not supposed to study, but it's just drawn for marks, they doesn't let other people, even if my sister, even if she's willing to do my work, they doesn't allow her. They are like, if it's your work, you're only supposed to do it. So this thing has helped me, has told me that, has made me independent, that nobody else is going to come and do my work. Even if they will, they should not. It's your work, so you should be the one doing it. So it had helped me to manage my schedule, to be able to do all the works which I am without procrastinating. So now, if in the childhood my parents wouldn't have given me these values, I wouldn't be here. So big thanks to my parents. And also,
Kudos to them. Kudos to them. They have
Yes.
done a really good
Yes, parents knowingly play a very big role just by being there in our life, and how they are present and how they talk or how they communicate, even amongst themselves. It really impacts the child a lot. And at the same time, it's not only making your child have a disciplined life. It's when they themselves are disciplined, only then they can bring it in the child. So it's a very good point. Thank you, Jivika, for sharing.
and also that my parents are like very social. So my parents being social, I also tend to be social. Even though, being honest, I don't really enjoy much of it. Like, I enjoy with a small group, but not with a huge of them. But over the period, I have known that even though I don't enjoy it, I'm not awkward in it. I can go mingle up with people. I can talk to them. So that is also a good thing, because later in future, or even now in colleges or somewhere else, uh, I have to go and be able to put up my opinions confidently. I have to be able to tell people what I feel, even if like 7 people go says that, or 10 people says that this is wrong, I should be able to tell that no, I feel that this is right. So that is also something which my parents have put up in me.
A very good important skill that is being argumentative or being able to present your skill in an assertive way and being able to prove what you're trying to prove because you're thinking that it is correct. No question in this world has a single answer. And maybe your viewpoint is different and my viewpoint is different. The perspectives are always different. So do you think, I remember that your father came to me on the, uh, I mean, when you was 10, 11 years old, and he told me that my child should be able to face the public. She should be able to communicate what she wants to because she's really fearful and she's really stressed out. So do you think that kind of skill was brought up in your English classes, the conversation classes that we had?
Definitely. Now, when we are confident, when our language is good, when we know what we are speaking, sometimes what we think in mind is not what exactly we speak. So, with with my learning in language, with my English getting better, I've been able to put my thoughts clearly into my words. So sometimes, like people go, ki I am responsible for what I say, but not what for me, what for other things. But instead of thinking like that, when you put it clearly, when you use the exact words, which comes with English by knowing your language better, so that will make you feel confident in public.
Very true, Jivika. One last thing I just wanted to, how did you get to that point that you love numbers, you want to play with them, or you want to do magics with them? Did you have any skill that was developed in you from your childhood regarding that, or did you develop it in your teenagers after you entered your intermediate?
Like from the beginning, like maths has been my favorite subject. Even now, I go great with algebra when it's numbers. But when it comes to trigonometry and it goes a little away from numbers, I fail. Uh, so it's just an interest that I like numbers. I just do stuff with them. I just like doing with them. And after learning abacus from you, that is, I started doing calculations better. So there, my love for numbers grew more.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that. You never mentioned that to me earlier. Jivika, you have given a beautiful testimonial for us because it's not about we telling it. It's about the student, how the student is getting impacted. And in the journey of 6 to 7 years that you have spent with us, I have seen a beautiful girl turn into a daring teenager. I think that's the dream of every parent.
Yes.
And that's how me or Sakshi or Devna, we are all existing for that purpose only. So if we were able to achieve that, I think that's what tells everything about it.
Yes. And it's very nice to know journeys of, how you're really coming up with. There are so many people who might be struggling with numbers, but, with that magic of love that for numbers that has come up for you, it has taken you to, say, aspiring a CA today. So, it's okay if you love language, you can aspire for something towards that. It's okay to have a passion and love for some subject and focus in that area. So it's a very thoughtful thing to connect with each student. And here we'll really mention it. It's not only about CA. This is just, we are bringing to you a subject where a child who's saying that I love this subject, hence I've taken a career in this line. At the same time, if you are fond of something, please choose that. You will be more happy, you will be more connected, and the results will also be better, rather than forcing or pushing on to some different career in that manner. So amazing, Jivika, how your love for numbers has brought you to where you are today. It has made you not only a CA aspirant, but a confident girl overall.
Yeah.
You've done everything apart from numbers, which is needed for you to stand who are you today. It may be learning a language, it may be going and standing for yourself, it may be a social life that you desire or you didn't desire, but it was needed as you needed in your further journey.
Yeah.
So, when you move towards something that you like, I think the universe just opens
Gives
the
you.
parameters for you, aligns the pathway for you, and you are successful just by taking that path. It's not, people say we will reach a successful stage. No, you are already successful today because you've chosen this. So thank you, Jivika. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Sakshi, for that. Jivika, you have already mentioned that you always want 100 on 100, 100%,
Yes.
not even 1 point lesser than that.
No.
But how did you harness or how did you develop the hobbies in you? And what are the two important hobbies that you have developed in yourself?
One, that no matter how tight is my schedule, I have to like make sure that I am giving time to my family. Now, because of that, my schedule might become tighter when I say that I have to spend time with my family, but that definitely makes me bring closer to them, because until now I'm here. Like for higher studies, I may not be here. I may go to some other place for studying, or I may shift to a hostel. So until the time I'm here, I want to be close to them. I want to know more about them, because sometimes when my parents say stories about themselves, I am in shock. He really, like, these are different people, but when they were young, they were different people. So I want to know more. So I'll tend to spend time, and it's not just that I have to go sit and talk with them. Even by helping my mother in some chores, or helping my father, or morning when I'm having breakfast, like my father tends to read the newspaper. So me and my father starts talking about stuff over about the newspaper, some news which comes there, and that little things, like they help me to know more. They teach me what's right, what's wrong, and even though when seen individually, these things might not seem as important, but when they add on to it, when each and everything adds on, it brings a huge change. And one more thing was overcoming procrastination. After the pandemic, like this procrastination has became a big problem for me. Became a huge problem. I used to procrastinate at everything, but after now, because it's been 3 years now, 3 to 4 years, I have tend to overcome that as well.
All
Amazing.
right, Jivika, thank you so much for your time, and that was a beautiful time spent on you. And I hope that the audience really, I mean, should be passing on it to their teenagers, because Jivika's journey is not only inspiring, it is also eye-opening at some points if the teenagers actually look into it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you, Jivika, for sharing an amazing journey of yours. Thank you, everyone. We'll come back soon with you for our next podcast. Thank you once again.